Hi, I'm Brian Russell, and today I want to talk about becoming a creative and generous solution finder. I serve as a professor, as a dean, as an editor, as a speaker, and most of these positions that I've moved into have been the result of me living by a key principle. And that principle is simply this: I always try to add more value than I receive any kind of payment for. My dad always taught me always be helpful, and I watched my father jump in and help whenever he could. And I've used that and followed that guiding principle as a means to live in my life. So, for example, as far as becoming dean, one of the reasons I was able to move from being a professor to a dean was that early on I saw that my school was having issues creating a dynamic schedule that allowed the most students to access classes at times that were convenient both for their lives while also valuing the lives of the faculty. And so I came up with some principles and I began writing schedules. So I ended up becoming known as the professor who was the scheduling guy. And then as time passed on, I ultimately was invited to become a dean, where now I write the schedule for my school, or for my school in Orlando. I also serve as an editor for a new press. And the way that I ended up getting into this position, in this role, was because I was able to identify a problem and solve it. This new press, and I was doing some consulting work because I have a background writing a lot of curriculum over the years. But one of the issues was trying to establish some writing guidelines that would help coach our authors to write in the style that we needed to reach the largest number of laypersons. And so what I did is I sat down after I got off the phone and I thought, well, how would I solve this problem? And I created a document about how to essentially create studies for lay people. And I just sent it off without just trying to be helpful. And then wasn't too much longer that I was actually invited then into an official position. And so key thing, become a generous solution finder and your career will advance and you'll enjoy yourself. So how do you do that? Well, it ultimately is about some mental practices. I've done this over the years. One of my favorite authors, his name is James Altucher. And one of his principles is he talks about becoming an idea machine. And so what he does every day, one of his core practices in the morning, is he carries a small notepad with him. And James Altucher, every morning, he tries to come up with 10 ideas that presumably solve somebody else's problem or solve a problem that he's come up with. So he just essentially practices every day coming up with creative ideas. And I would suggest trying that as well. Every day, try to come up with 10 ideas. Again, those won't always be 10 excellent ideas, but what if every couple days you get one great idea? If you learn to become an idea machine, you're always going to be in demand, because what our world needs are not people that just point out problems. What our world needs, what businesses need, what churches need, what neighborhoods need, what families need, are people that can actually solve problems. And we want to generate as many solutions as we can and be known as the solution people. So how do you do that? Well, number one, you need to become an idea machine. So you want to practice that. Practice using your idea muscle. Practice brainstorming. Make those lists of 10. Secondly, what we need to learn to do is we need to become careful listeners. Listen to your family. Listen to your kids, your spouse. Listen to your business colleagues. Listen to friends and try to see what are the issues that they're facing, and then simply try to be helpful. Step in when you can. If someone just needs help doing something and you can do it, of course, help them, but also try to generate solutions and then just hand them over free of charge. And I think that's the key thing. You always want to add value, but and be willing to give away your good stuff, because when you give good things to people, you're releasing that energy, and that energy usually comes back to you in some way. It may not be immediate, but it will come back. So if you want to succeed in life, if you want to move forward, if you want to have opportunities, learn how to solve other people's problems. And then when you become the solution to enough problems, lots of opportunities follow, and you can enjoy yourself, use your skills, and most importantly, you'll be adding value to the world each day. And nothing feels better than having a job where you can be creative, work with great people, and you can add value. Again, I'm Brian Russell. I'm your professor for life. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.